Okie dokie. This is my first time going live on YouTube. I'm not nervous. I've been live on Facebook. I got it. I don't know who's going to come on though, because this is my first time going live, and I didn't like advertise it or anything like that. I just figured that I've been live on Facebook a lot, and I want to grow both YouTube and Facebook and actually Instagram. And maybe there's no better way to do that than to start doing some live videos and seeing how that goes. So, yeah, so there we go. Since this is my first time, I'm going to, excuse me for just a second, because there's way too much light there. I got to figure out, yeah, that's a little better. Hi there. It shows me that you're there. It just doesn't tell me who you are, but welcome. Come on in. This is my first live on YouTube, and I haven't actually done it before. So I'm just trying to get the lay of the land for how the live feature works on YouTube. So there we go. Okay. You guys should know though, that I did a couple of videos today for Facebook that are going to be, or for YouTube that I'm going to be putting up soon. They'll come out over the next couple of days. And the topics are actually kind of a little bit more on the deep side, but they're still about travel. So let me just say to begin with, the first thing we talked about is that I live in California. I'm in Northern California. And I heard that next month they're supposed to be getting rid of the masking policy that they have right now that's going on, right? And that masking policy is like, some people are like, woohoo, no more masks. Frankly, I don't like wearing them. I think that I am, an attractive woman, and I would like to be able to wear lipstick again and show my face. But I understand that I would prefer to be alive than show my face. So we'll do what we have to do. Okay, so there's that. I'm wondering if you guys live in a state other than California, how your laws are going right now for masks and things like that. I do keep up to date on lots of things happening in travel, but to keep up with every single state's things would be a lot. So if you do know what's happening with your mask law, if that's going to be lightened or if it's already been lightened, please comment so that I kind of can keep in the loop. I would appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, so we talked about that. Also, it's worth saying, while I'm live on YouTube, I talk very fast. I'm very chatty, and I'm not working on changing that. I'm not. So if you're okay with me being chatty and kind of a fast talker, then you're in the right place. Okay, so there is that. The next video that's coming up, though, for you guys is a video that I talked about. So this past weekend, just this one past, you should know that I have a host agency. So Travelsstart is my business at home. And what I do is I pay a company so that I have access to the vendors that I need help with. So that could be Royal Caribbean, it could be Celebrity. You guys know that I focus on tropical travel, that I focus on cruise travel, and that I focus on group travel, so getting away. The goal is to get my Travelsstart family that I know is in the world, to get my tribe so that we can get together and travel, every once a year, maybe once every couple of months or whatever it is, depending on what the getaway is, right? What the voyage is. Right now, the two things that we have up still, and it hasn't been canceled, so hallelujah for that. We have an 11-day Southern Caribbean with Norwegian Cruise Line aboard the Escape. It is a holiday cruise. It leaves 3 days before Christmas, comes back 2 days after New Year's. So it's 11 days. It's all Caribbean, and we'll talk about that later. I also have a 7-day for the Apex of Love, also Travelsstart getaway. It's a 7-day aboard the Celebrity Apex. Now, keep in mind that the Apex is a cruise that's it's like going to Fifth Avenue, getting dressed up. It's very chic and sophisticated. You will see shows and you will have food and sumptuous meals and the whole thing. And I hope that I'm painting a picture for you that you're like, I need to get on this ship. And hopefully you want to get away with Travel Start. There is a video on my Travel Start page somewhere that shows that I was and still am a little bit nervous about going on the celebrity just in general, but the Apex, because as you guys can tell, I'm not Fifth Avenue. Okay. Even when I'm completely dressed and up, I still have the same personality. So I was worried about how I would be accepted and worried about how that would go. And initially, that cruise was scheduled for February this year, but COVID hit. And so that went out the window. But we decided to reschedule it to next year. And the whole point of that for me was to face my fears. And I didn't know if there were other people in the world feeling like me, maybe a little trepidation about just kind of being like a down-to-earth type of person and going on a ship that boasts sophistication and elegance. And they have a place called Eden that's supposed to be a show. It is a show that they put on in an area called Eden that's kind of like dinner with a movie that's supposed to be very sexy, and I love sexy. So I will take that. But so I decided to face my fears, and that's how it came about. And that was also why I decided to go ahead and just reschedule it to 2022. It leaves on February the 12th and comes back on the 19th, and it's out of Fort Lauderdale. Okay. February next year. So those are the two things we have up. I do want to add on one more Travel Start voyage that's going to happen before 2022 lets out. And I think it's going to be an all-inclusive. For those of you that do not know, my family, as in my mother, sisters, brothers, things like that, have been asking for an all-inclusive because the last few things we've done have been cruise ship oriented, which I love and they love, but they want to try an all-inclusive. And I've never been, so I do too. I want to go. Actually, some of the familiarization trips, they're called FAMs, FAM trips, that our agency has, I've been looking for an all-inclusive so that I can go before I take my family. So right now I'm considering the correct resort company to go with, because like AMR or I want to say it's called Sunscape or Ryu, or there's just a lot of choices. And I want to make sure, here's the other thing about traveling with a group, okay? I like to dance. Give me a dance floor and a drink and a beach. I'm good. Warm weather and warm water. I'm good. My mother and my sisters want to be up at the butt crack of dawn. And if you guys don't know what the butt crack of dawn is, it's the same time the roosters start crowing, and the sun's not up yet. That's too early for me. But they want to get up, watch the sun come up, get a glass of coffee, have breakfast outside. They kind of want that leisure stroll in the morning, that things are like nice and easy. So I want to pick a place that honors that, so they can definitely go in spa and get massages and things like that, but also honors the parts of the group that are also want to go and dance and party, which also is my mother and my sister. But I just want to get something that has some balance between those. Okay. So that's what we're looking at. If the Travel Start family wants to pipe up at some point and give me some recommendations for places that you've been that you really like, I'm all ears. And or if you want to go to a place that you haven't been, but you're like dying to go, drop it down in the comments for me. Okay. Either here or Facebook, but here's great also. So there's that. Okay. So I just wanted to kind of give you guys, and I haven't said this on YouTube yet, but it's worth saying. The Apex of Love is canceled. Not the Apex, excuse me. The, what's the name? What did I call it? Get Panorama'd. This one. She's canceled. We were going to go on the Carnival Panorama for 7 days. It was a Mexican Riviera 7-day, but it was canceled recently. We were going to go in June because my 25th wedding anniversary is June 1st. And I just wanted to like love on my husband. And I also wanted to spend time with family so they could come celebrate, but I didn't want the cleanup and all that nonsense afterwards. So I figured, since I was there for the naming ceremony for the ship, that would be a great getaway. But COVID. Damn it, COVID. Sorry about the cuss word, but you guys understand what I'm saying, right? We were excited about that. Will I reschedule this? At this point, I'm getting on the Carnival Panorama. You guys trust and believe that. However, as my head shakes, I just saw it in the video and I'm like, okay, Liz, they know you're a black girl, but maybe you could do a little less with the head shakes. I feel like, especially at this point right now for Travel Start, having three events posted is probably a good amount and I shouldn't go over it. So I don't think that this will be rescheduled until we get through our cruise that's in December. After December, I will look at what dates for the Carnival Panorama, and really, hopefully by then, COVID will be, mostly a thing of the past, and we'll be able to have a good time. Personally, the Havana Suites are amazeballs. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I will do a video on the Havana Suites aboard the Carnival Panorama. Actually, they also have them on the new Mardi Gras, and I believe the Celebration, which is supposed to be the next newest ship, right? So there's an area aboard the ship that I'll give you a quick little synopsis about. There is a bar aboard the ship called the Havana Room, and it's all decked out like Cuba and Havana. And so there are rooms that are nearby to that you can walk out, and there's like an area that's enclosed so you can have privacy. There are loungers, and there are, I think they're called the eggs, the big round, I'm pretty sure they're called eggs. So you can get in there and you can catch some sun, or you can curl up and pull the little thing down and doze off or whatever. But it also does have, like, I believe there's a pool in that little area too, or a jacuzzi. And when you're thinking about a 25th wedding anniversary, that sounds pretty good. Except it's probably going to be more like a 26th or 27th wedding anniversary because COVID. Anyhow, it is all decked out. The rooms are a little bit bigger. Of course, they cost a little more. We all know if we go up in category, we pay more money. But it's one of those places that I really want my husband to go, and myself, and be like pampered and taken care of. Okay. So I'm excited about that Havana space. Okay. As of yet, I don't have plans to get on the Mardi Gras yet, but I'm excited to taste Emerald's food because Emerald Lagasse is one of the chefs. Yay. So there's that. And there's a lot to like about this new ship, but we have so many things. We had 3 things planned. Now we're down to 2. And since I'm getting requests for all inclusives, that will be my 3rd. So I don't want to put anything else in motion until I've completed my December trip. And after that, I will figure out what day we're going to go on the Panorama, and then we'll figure out other things after that. Because really, the Apex is in February, and that's like 2 months afterwards. So, month and a half, 2 months afterwards. So they're like back to back. They're really close in. And I've honestly been giving that part some thought because it may be too close in for people to take time off from work back to back, for those of us that have to deal with employers. So, okay. So you're caught up on Travel Start trips. That's great. Yay. I did ask you guys what's happening with your mask policy in your areas. I really do want to know the answer to that. I'm interested, especially since I'm in California. And I've been told that parts of Texas really didn't do the masking very much. I'm not sure if that's true or just hearsay. I don't know. But anyways, interested. Okay. Before I move on, the one thing that I do want to talk about. Sorry, you guys. I'm looking to see if I don't think I have it right here by my hand, but I'm going to, off the top of my head, I'll try to get you into this, clue you in. Okay. So you guys have seen, most of you hopefully have seen the videos about all-inclusives and how they work and how they're working with COVID. As of right now, those rules are still very much in place. So you have to have a COVID test before you leave the country. That's going to be true of our cruises as well. It does have to come back positive. They are doing more testing even at the airport. So when you land, if you go to, say, Mexico, Cancun, whatever, if you land, they're going to do COVID test, before they let you get back on the plane to come back home too. So you do have to have a negative COVID test in place. I believe it's 2 to 3 days before you leave. It does vary by vendor, so I'm trying to give you guys the close in of it. And then you will have to have a COVID test before you're ready to come back home. Also, many of the resorts have these doohickeys that they put on the ground. In case you don't know what a doohickey is, it's like an apparatus or thing they put on the ground so they can clean your feet, because COVID can be tracked in on the soles of your shoes. Instead of them directly handing you a pen, like so, they will take tongs, and it'll either be in a plastic thing or there'll be tongs, and they will give that to you so that you can sign for whatever you need to do for the hotels. And many of them have pre-check-in things that will allow you to bypass a lot of the nonsense. Okay, so there's that. They also are wiping down counters in between every guest. They're wiping down handrails multiple times a day. They have to put a sticker on your door to your room that says that it's been cleaned, so it's fogged, which is what they're using to kill the COVID virus that it's on surfaces or anything like that. If you stay at a resort longer than 3 days, they have to be allowed to come in and fog that room again. So they're taking no chances. Okay. If you're at dinner, you're allowed to be inside of the restaurant without a mask on as long as you're eating, but those are still socially distanced. That's important to know. Also, you can be outside at the pool without the mask on if you choose, because you're outside. But for me personally, I've already had my inoculation. I've had the COVID shot. I had 2 of them. I had the Pfizer. So I may actually feel a little more comfortable, even with the shot, with having a mask on, depending on how many people are out and about. Because even though you have the inoculation, you can still have it like on your clothes and be a carrier. And I would hate to think that I was responsible for someone else becoming ill. Like, that would break my heart. That's not who I am. So that you guys know, okay? But those are kind of the guidelines right now. Now, there are a couple of extra things. I believe you need travel visas to go into Caribbean and Bahamas. And Hawaii is requiring, if you're going to do an island hopper, so if you're going to come in and you're going to go to Kauai, and then you're going to go to Maui, and then whatever, go to the Big Island, whatever it is, you do have to have a negative COVID test. I think it's within 48 hours before you can hop to the new island. So if you're going to hop and you're like, look, I'm going to go and I'm going to be gone for like 9 days, and you're going to do 3 islands, just know that you will have to have COVID tests done on each of those islands. Okay. It's worth saying. If memory serves me correctly right now, Bahamas is not open, but Jamaica is. Jamaica's open. So there we go. There are places that are allowing us to travel, I guess, is really what I'm trying to impress upon you. And so if you're looking to get out, just know, 1, make sure your passport is valid. I've said this on Travelsstart like 10 times at least. But if your passport expires within 6 months, your passport is no longer considered valid. You have to get a new passport. And for those of you who are following on Facebook, I did post about the updates to what's happening with passports, because, and this is what we're saying, it used to be you could go down and get a brand new passport, you could pay for it, and they would tell you it'd take up to 6 weeks to get it, but usually you got it in like 2 to 3 weeks, right? But with COVID, at one point, they stopped giving out passports unless it was an emergency. You couldn't get them at all. And now that they're doing passports again, they are taking upwards of like 4 to 6 2 to 4 months to get your passport back home in your hand. I'll get that out. So it's definitely taking a longer period of time. So if you have a passport that expires within 8 months, and they do want you to send your old passport in when you get the new one, so you're without a passport anyways, within 8 months, maybe even 10 months, you might want to go get on your passport stuff right now. Because especially if you're planning to travel in that time frame, right? So just know your passports are going to take a little bit longer. We've also talked on this page about the Real ID Act. So lots of states all the states within the US have implemented the Real ID Act. Now, because of COVID, last year in October was supposed to be the cutoff for the Real ID, but because of COVID, it got pushed to this year. So the Real ID is your identification card, but your identification card has a little picture on it that says that you're allowed in government or federally owned businesses or on the premises of those companies. So if you need to go to the DMV and you don't have a Real ID, they won't let you in the door. You can use a passport, but if you have a limited ID that doesn't have the Real ID updated, they won't let you get in the DMV or into court or into a federal building or whatever it is. So make sure, because the DMV also has their times for appointments are super extended. So just make sure you keep that in mind with your Real ID. I went to get mine, but we had some confusion because when I got to the DMV, they wanted a copy of my marriage license. And at that time, the rules said, if you've had a recent name change, be sure to bring those documents. But I've been Elizabeth Rivas for, like I said, it'll be 25 years on June 1st. And it was last year, year before that I tried to get it. I think it was last year. And they were like, no, we have to have a copy of your marriage license. And I just haven't been back to DMV. So I'm in the same boat. I have to go and get my Real ID. But if you've had any name changes, if you've had a divorce, if you've had a marriage, if you just changed your name, you are going to need documentation for those name changes. It's worth saying. Sometimes people look at what they want online, and then they get down there in the DMV like they did to me, and they were like, well, yeah, but no, we really have to have it. And it's frustrating. So just make sure that you take any documentation for name changes that you've had ever. Take it when you go to get your Real ID. Okay? Because you're going to want those. In California, they're about $38. I can tell you that. I don't know what they are for the other states, but that's what it is. Okay. So extended wait times at the DMV, extended wait times to get your passports. Be prepared. Okay. And yeah, you're going to have to get practically your brain scraped if you're going on vacation. Now, what I am interested in and what I'm thinking about is how you guys are feeling about travel at this point. Now, I'm not talking about, and I'm knocking on wood here, but I'm not saying you have a loved one that gets sick and you need to travel, but leisure travel. How are you feeling now about leisure travel? Are you wanting to get away? Are you thinking, I've got my inoculation, so I'm willing to travel now? Are you still not sure yet? You're not there. You're worried about it. Like, where are you guys at? I'll tell you, for me, I'm okay with traveling. A couple of things, though, that do have me a smidgen apprehensive is that some of the airlines that were doing great social distancing are no longer doing that. So they're like trying to pack the plane with people. And again, just because I don't have COVID personally doesn't mean that you cannot be a carrier. But on the upside, a lot of these airlines, if you get on the plane and they have a mask policy and you're not following it, they will turn the plane around and they will land it, or they will bar you from flying again. So that actually makes me feel a little bit better, because there are people that will cut up because they just don't want to wear a mask. At the same time, the one question I have not had answered, and I'd really like to know, is what happens for people who cannot wear a mask? So if you have a child that is autistic, or you have a loved one that's autistic and they will not keep the mask on, or if they have severe claustrophobia, something like that. There are people that have such severe burns on their face that they no longer actually have the meaty part of the nose, so they kind of have cuts, and trying to wear that mask, it sucks up against those cuts. It's not nice. So I am wondering what happens, what the rules are for people that have these illnesses. And as of right now, the thing I've been told is they're not allowed to fly. And that to me doesn't seem fair. Maybe they need a little space on the plane for people that can't wear masks, where they all kind of go in that spot or whatever. But they should not be able to discriminate against you because you have a health issue that interferes with the ability to wear the mask. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying just because you don't want to wear it, because most of us don't want to wear a mask, but if you have a legitimate health issue, I would love to know from the airlines what policies they have in place to protect the rights of people that have a disability that cannot wear them. That's what I want to know. Okay, so that's that. Now, that has been a lot of information. Oh, it says I've been on for 25 minutes. Who knew? That kind of went fast, didn't it? So just me, it went fast for me. At the bottom of my screen, for those of you that have never gone live on Facebook or on YouTube like me, there are little dots at the bottom of my screen next to the microphone, and I'm telling you, I'm wondering what they do. One dot is green and all the rest are white and sometimes flash green. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it does have a little microphone next to it. Anyhow, I'm still not quite all together on what all the things do inside of the YouTube live function. So I'm learning as I go. I don't know who you are. It shows me two little people and a one next to it. So I know someone is there, but I don't know who you are. I just want to say thank you for sticking with me while I ramble about all these things in travel that have me excited or frustrated or worried or whatever. Because without you guys, Travel Start's not going to go anywhere. Before I close out this video, I want to talk to you guys about just a little bit, because I do have videos coming for these topics, but I started off the video talking about what I learned at the conferences this weekend, or what jarred my memory or what resonated. So this is what I want to say. Any person that knows more about their negatives than their positives is not going to have a great time moving forward in any relationship, be that business, be that romantic, be that with children. If you walk around constantly telling people about what's bad about you and you're not able to say what's good about you, that's a problem. So, interestingly, when that thought flung to the front of my mind at these conferences this weekend, I couldn't help but think about, so I have a chronic health condition, and I tell you guys that. I'm okay with it. I don't have a problem with it. I have a group on Facebook. It is what it is. And I do talk about that. But I realize that I don't talk enough about things that to me are good information about me. Sometimes things happen in your life and it feels like it kind of, I don't know, like hogties you and kind of takes you off the track that you were meant to be on, or you feel like you were meant to be. And then you realize that that road was important. It was a necessary thing. My health issue has taught me that I have courage. My health issue has taught me that I am kind. Even when I'm sick, I'm still kind. My health issues taught me that I'm loving. It's taught me about loyalty, because I have loved ones that are also sick, and you know how sometimes you see movies and like someone gets sick and the spouse in that movie, or the friend or the loved one or whatever, like disappears from their life. And you find out that that wasn't actually a real friend, or that wasn't actually someone who really loved you. I found out that I don't care if you're sick, I still love you. I don't see someone being sick as a reason to take off and leave and no longer be a part of their life. So I am loyal, very loyal. That is me. I also found out, and I've always known this intellectually, but over the course of this program, and I hope as I'm talking that you're trying to figure out, or you're thinking about how these things pertain to you. Like, am I courageous? Am I loyal? Am I loving? Am I kind? I hope that it sits with you. But I also found out that what I really, really, really want out of life, first of all, is love. I've always known that. Is not just love, but to give love and to receive love. That's important. is also to be kind, is also to be in a career that helps people. To me, travel is so important in helping people reconnect, understand each other, get away, realize that maybe what's happening in your life right now is not that you don't like your spouse, it's that you're stressed out. You know what I'm saying? Travel kind of takes you away. So it's important. I know how important it is, but I don't think I've always done the best job of relaying that to you guys. So it's something that I'm working on. Also, that it's super important to be yourself. Now, I've never tried to be someone else, but I have tried to slow down how fast I talk or to not cuss because in real life, I cuss. I cuss, you guys. Every now and again, I need a really good expletive, I feel like. And I know there are people in the world that will say that's just a poor vocabulary. It's simply that you're unable to enunciate the words that you want to say and the way that you want to say them. And if you should ever feel the need to pick up a dictionary or a thesaurus, you will figure out, like, okay, fuck that. Obviously, I'm well educated, and obviously, I still choose to be myself within um, whatever it is that I choose to do. So uh, I just choose what feels natural and right to me. And I do know there are things that I need to fix, and I'm not saying that there aren't, but I am also quite rebellious. So if someone says something to me, especially my clothes or about my business, in terms of like travel start or whatever, or my marriage, and they think they have the right to interject, then I can also go from really kind and loving to pretty fierce. And those are things I had to figure out about Liz. So um, that's where I'm at. Now, let's talk about transparency before I jump off. I would love to be able to have more clients and more bookings in Travel Start. Also know that Travel Start came to me in a way that makes me happy because of Signature Events. Signature Events is my event planning and design company. I wanted to be able to offer those people honeymoons or vacations after their events. That's how it started. It also is because my father passed from prostate cancer and I didn't get to travel with him as much as I would like to. And it really, really, really solidified solidly for me when I planned a cruise. Most of my family was going to be on the cruise. One of my brothers could not. Um, the cruise was in October, and in December he got in a car accident and did not walk away from the car accident. And I regret that we were not able to travel more, make more memories together. That's my goal. My goal is to be able to help you make those memories, feel the regret that I do, and not being able to travel with people that are important to me, not be able to make memories with people that are important to me, to reconnect and all those other things that we talked about earlier. But I know the importance of travel. I know what it means to the people that work in the travel industry, and I know what it means to the people and families that decide that it's important to go out and make those memories, to see other cultures, to just learn new things about. I swear every time I go on vacation, I learn something new about my husband or my kids. They'll say something and my head will swing and I'll go, I never knew that about you. And they'll go, yeah, like whatever it is. So I know travel is important. I know you guys are important. I know your lives are important. I know that spending the time with family, with loved ones, and even with the family that you have created, sometimes blood is not always the best. So if you're spending time with family and loved ones, to me, your heart has grown, your spirit and your soul is filling up, and you're just a better person. Are you just a better, nicer person when you're out in the world and you've come back from a vacation and you feel connected to your family and you feel connected to your home and you're happy to go on vacation, you're happy to come back home. I don't know about you, but I appreciate my bed every time I go on vacation. Every time I'm on vacation, and I love the beds on cruise ship, that little light rocking that you'll get sometimes at night that puts you to sleep, like lulls you to sleep. I love that. But when I come home and climb into my bed, I feel just It's like me and the bed were made for each other. You know what I mean? So that is what travel does. It makes you even appreciate the things that you have more. So all of those things help me to want to spend more time in the travel space. And that's why I'm here. My goal for Travel Start is to have more people reaching out to me for bookings, have more people asking for quotes, have more people telling me about where they want to go and why they want to go and why they're excited, have more people telling me that, I want to go, but I don't know about blah, blah, blah. Fill that in. Because everything is not all great with travel and everything is not all bad with travel. There's definitely that spectrum, in travel. I'm still trying to figure out where to put my hands. You guys should know this shirt that I have on is one of my favorite shirts, and it has a hole here that made me mad. And I've been telling myself, you got to put it on the sewing machine and sew it back together, but I haven't done it yet. So sorry about the hole, but it's my favorite. It's one of my favorites. Okay, well, so now that you guys know my goals and now that you guys know what I learned at my conference this weekend, and hopefully I have picked your brain a little bit and made you think about what those things are for you and all of those things. And we've talked about some of the rules and some of the guidelines and all that great stuff. What I really want is to send my love and my kindness and just my thoughts and my prayers out into the world. I want to send it to the Travel Start family. I want you guys to know that I think of you all the time. I pray for you all the time. I pray for my tribe to continue coming in to me. I know that every person that I meet on social media is probably not going to be a good person, but I believe that because I'm a good person, the most of what's going to come to me, just like Dawn Terrace, just like Tony and Jenny, just like a lot of people in the travel space, you'll get more good than bad coming back to me and to Travel Start. And I hope that I'm also giving back to you kindness and love and joy and something that just makes you happy and feels good, because we need more love. We need more happiness in the world. This is my last point and I'm off. I did get a call from AFWPI, from the president of the company, and he was telling me that in our area there were over 17,000 requests for wedding services in our area. And I usually only do wedding stuff if people call and ask, like they need help or something. But you guys are going to start seeing more honeymoon, more destination wedding, more vow renewal type stuff on Travel Start. It's one of those things I decided I believe should also be a part of our tropical, all-inclusive, and cruise community that I'm trying to build. Okay, so just know I'm not telling you you have to get married, but I'm also not telling you if you're in love not to. But I am saying I love love so much, and it's just another thing to fill us up and make us happy. And by the way, I know this probably sounds stupid, but hear me out on this. I am so in love with my husband that I just want to give. I just want other people to feel all of that. And sometimes I guess I'm worried that I don't want people to think that I believe every marriage has that love. I know sometimes people get married, not we, but sometimes people get married and it's for convenience, or it starts off great but doesn't go well. And I know all marriage isn't happy, but for those of you that are really, truly, truly in love, you found another person to share your life with, I believe that is something to be celebrated. I believe it's something to be celebrated actually in friendships. I believe it's something to be celebrated in business. I believe it's something to be celebrated, of course, in family, but with your children. It's just, when you have love, celebrate it, because it can be so fleeting. My father's not here anymore. I still love him so much, but I won't ever have a new memory with him. I won't ever have a new memory with my brother. So if you took nothing away from what I've said today, please love on the ones that you're with. Please do it now. Do it today. Don't wait until it's too late, until you can't tell them. Because my biggest regret with my brother, and this is going to make me emotional, he told his wife that he feels like his family loves him, but that we didn't necessarily like him. And that breaks my heart. Oh my gosh, you guys. I loved him. I love him so much. You guys should know my brother was a special kind of a person. He felt like he was invincible, which he and I would always get into these things. Okay, but he has a gun. What do you mean? And he would be telling me, like, if someone had a gun, then I would do this and I would do that and I would do this. And I don't think you're going to be able to outrun a bullet. I'm just saying. But he just had this, it was just infectious. It just made you feel a certain kind of a way. And he was that guy where he worked in carpet, right? He laid carpet in businesses and families' homes and things like that. And he would go in to do a job and he would start working. And the next thing you know, people would come in and they would just be chatting with him instead of doing other stuff they were supposed to do. And that's who he is. That's who he was. There's nothing about that I didn't love. And I get to say it on social media, but damn it, you guys, I don't get to say it to him. So please, please tell your loved ones, whether they're blood or not, whether they're family or not, whether they're the family that you gained, whatever it is, tell them that you love them. Don't just think it. Don't say, I went to the store and got this thing, so they must know that I love them. Say the words. Say it. Tell them. And when they tell you that they love you, don't belittle it. You know, some of us, sometimes people say, I am the worst at this. Just to be perfectly present and perfectly clear. My husband sometimes will come to me and say, hey, beautiful. And I'll be like, really? Which is actually belittling, right? It's not a good thing. It's just, you know, you think you're being playful, you think you're being kind, whatever. But many of us give love freely, but have a hard time accepting it. And so that's my comment. That's the last thing I have to say is give love and receive love. And please come back and patronize our business. Because I don't know this for sure, but I feel like there's probably not a lot of people like me in the world who want to do the kind thing and who are honest and transparent and who just want to give love away. I mean, I know that we're out there. I know we're there. I think Tony and Jenny and Dawn Terrace, I know that we're out there. But I also know that I am unique. And I want to be able to keep going. And it's hard to want to keep going without clients. I do have friends that book with me from time to time. Don't get me wrong. But I would still like to be able to actually grow a business and not just have only friends and family that use my services. So that's it. That's all. I love you. Thank you for watching. If you see this on the replay, please, 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 over in the comment section, if it lets you, or down below, I'm not sure how YouTube works on this exactly, but if you wouldn't mind commenting #replay, because what happens is once you do that, the algorithm for YouTube is like, oh, okay, I guess that they're interested in her content. And so you'll see more of my content pop up, which is great. And you never know, even if a cruise isn't for you, you never know if maybe the all-inclusive might be for you, right? Or the next thing that we go to do. So, so that's my 2 cents, or my 43 minutes of sense, whatever that equates to. And thank you. I love you. You're in my prayers. And we'll see you guys really, really soon. Okay. Bye.